And a Greek court has granted asylum to 3 of the 8 Turkish military officers who fled to Greece in July following a failed coup in Turkey. The soldiers' lawyer has repeatedly claimed they will not receive a fair trial if they're returned to Turkey and that their lives would be at risk. The remaining 5 soldiers will have their hearings held on Tuesday. Well, let's talk more about that story. Maria Karkelidou joins us now live from Athens. So, Maria, what does this decision mean? Is it final?
It appears to be the asylum requests from these 3 officers that were part of an 8-officer group. They were officers of the Turkish military. They arrived in Greece the day following the July 15th coup in Turkey, and they asked for political asylum. On the other hand, the Turkish government is alleging that they actually took part in the coup and that they also took part in the plot to assassinate Turkish Prime Minister Erdogan, Turkish President Erdogan. So as a result, they were asking for political asylum here. Initially, 3 of the requests had been either archived or rejected by the Greek authorities, but they did take their case to court. They said that their lives would be threatened if they returned back to Turkey, and it appears that the Council of Appeals Judges here in Athens, of Appeals Court Judges here in Athens, accepted that this could well be the case. So now we've got another trial tomorrow. The remaining Turkish military officers are also essentially making the same argument that with thousands of people arrested in Turkey following the court, they would be, their lives would be in danger. And it remains to be seen whether the same rationale will prevail tomorrow in courts as well, Shuli.
OK, so what is the Greek government's position on all this?
Well, I think they're wishing this had never happened. They were completely taken aback when these 8 officers arrived in a helicopter. They landed in the town of Alexandroupolis in northern Greece, which is very close to Turkey, within 24 hours of the Turkish coup. And now the Greek government seems to be in a very, very tight spot. Relations with Turkey are always important for Greece. It's its closest neighbor, and the 2 countries have got a long rivalry. But particularly in the last few years, they've become even more important. Turkey is actually hosting at the moment 3 million refugees that are threatening to cross the water. President Erdogan had said that Turkey would open the floodgates if the deal achieved between the EU and Turkey didn't work. At the same time, there is also discussions taking place about the future of Cyprus, about the possible reunification of Cyprus. So generally, I think in any case, the Greek authorities would be very apprehensive, and particularly now at this time, they're very, very troubled by this development. And I think it is very hard to see what's the way forward for them. Turkey is demanding the extradition of these officers, but it's very hard, it's impossible for the Greek government to actually intervene in the judiciary. So it remains to be seen what will happen in the next few days and weeks.
OK, Maria, thank you for that. Well, let's go straight to the Turkish capital now. Soraya Leni is there for us. So any reaction from Ankara, Soraya?
There's been a little reaction so far, but keep in mind, obviously, this is breaking news. This is just happening. We have Turkish diplomats all over the place travelling. Now, the first report that we've got is from the head of the National Defence Ministry, Fikri Shuk. Some very harsh comments saying terrorism is terrorism. Courts shouldn't make a distinction between terrorist groups. He also went on to say that it was basically up to the Greek government to apply pressure to make sure that these men were extradited, specifically because Greece and Turkey are allies in NATO. We also have a statement expected from the Foreign Ministry in the next half an hour or so, and also comments from the Prime Minister coming in probably the next half an hour before he gets on a plane to Russia.
But very difficult for the Greek government to go against a Greek court decision, Soraya. So what could this potentially mean for Turkey-Greece relations?
Well, absolutely. Absolutely, you're quite right. In these countries, the judiciary and the executive branches of government are separate. The Greek government can only do so much. So, as we heard before, it really was a nightmare situation when these men flew into Greek territory and put up that distress call, and then, of course, applied for asylum. It was something that Greece, certainly Turkey, didn't want to happen, a rupture or a potential rupture in relations, and a lot of pressure on the Greek government to do something about this. But obviously, this is in the hands of the courts, not the government. And the court has decided, obviously, as we heard, at least in the case of 3 of these men, that appeal and that request for asylum has been granted. Certainly disappointment from the Turkish government as part of this crackdown on members of the Gulenist organisation the government blames for that attempted coup on July 15, which left more than 230 people dead.
Soraya, thank you. Soraya Lenny there in Ankara.